Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a necklace today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that came in the most recent Curated bead box, the one for November 2023. It's called Persian Rug. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the unboxing video I did for this subscription in case you want to watch it, where I go into a little bit more detail about all the different beads that came in the box and all. It's $20 a month, and that includes shipping. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa35, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon code will save you 35% off your first box, so that would make your first box $13. I've got the 10mm champagne crackle glass beads and the 10mm sandy brown marble style glass beads, and I'm not going to use nearly this many. This is just this is all of them. I just cut them off the strand, and this is all of them. And here I've got a little tree that I'm going to use. I guess that's a little tree of life that I'm going to use as my pendant. I've got some 10mm connector links. I've got a whole bunch of these. I thought they're cut, the way they're cut, they're just not a plain link. I don't know if you can tell, but they're really sparkly and shiny, and y'all know I love sparkly and shiny. And I got a whole bunch of these because they were on sale, and I think they're pretty, and they're 10mm, and I'm going to use those. I'm not going to need that many of them either. I'm sure I won't, unless I make a 5-foot long necklace, which y'all know me. Anything's possible when it comes to making long necklaces. I've got my 22 gauge German style wire. I've got some chain that I'm probably going to put a little on the back of, because it probably won't be near long enough. So I'll have to put a little chain on the back of it. And the extender chain, because, we have to have the extender chain's mostly to have something to hang a dangle off of, because there's got to be a dangle somewhere. And that's going to be this little leaf. I'm going to dangle it off the extender chain. And I've got some jump rings and a lobster clasp in there. I'm going to be using my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers, both pairs of my bent chain nose pliers, my round nose pliers, my cutters, and the crimping pliers I use to tuck in the burrs when I cut off wire. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I'm done, and he's getting really full. I'm going to have to empty him. So I think that's everything. I'll put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below. So hold on, I'll get my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some of my beads poured out here. This is going to be a really simple necklace. I'm just going to make some wire wrapped links, and I'm going to put these connector rings between my beads all the way along the necklace. So these pieces of wire are about 3 inches. So I'm going to go down probably not hardly 1.5 inches. Bend over the tool at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. I'm going to bend the wire back until it hits the tool. I'm going to rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the short piece of wire up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. And that usually stands your little wire almost straight up like that. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Pull my wire down. I'll wrap the short piece of wire around the longer piece of wire about 3 times. Of course, you don't have to do it 3 times. You can do it however many you want to. I just always do about 3 times. I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'll take one of my beads and put it on here. I'm going to take my pliers, go to the very tip of the pliers because I don't want a very long neck. Because I want to be able to have 3 wraps up here like I do down here. And with this 22 gauge wire, if I go to the very tip of my pliers, it ends up making about 3 wraps. So I'm going to bend over at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Now I'm going to open my loop just a little bit. I'm going to thread on one of my links. I guess I need to open it a little bit more. Those links are very thin. It shouldn't have to be opened very much. There we go. Now I'm going to close my loop back up. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Can be a little awkward since I've got that link in the way, but bring my wire down. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. And I want to make sure to get that first wrap in under the bottom of the loop and not over the top of the bottom of the loop, which I mess up and do quite often. And I'm going to just keep wrapping until there's no more room to wrap. Now I'm going to cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take these crimping pliers and I'll use that part at the end that has the half circle on each side to tuck in my wires. And now I'm going to take another piece of my wire, go down probably not hardly 1.5 inches, bend over the tool at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to round those pliers in the crook of the bend, round those pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the tool, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take the short piece up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. I'm going to open this one. And I'm going to thread this link on this one. I'm going to close my loop back. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Of course, you don't have to wrap directly to a link. You can attach it with jump rings, but I just thought I would wrap it directly to the link. Maybe I get in the habit of wrapping things directly to things and not always forget to wrap my, I'm always forgetting to wrap my dangle that I make to go off the end of a extender chain directly to the chain, and I end up having to get out a jump ring and add it on. So now I'm going to wrap this wire around the longer piece of wire about 3 times. Take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Now I'm going to take my champagne colored one. I'm going to alternate between them as I do this. Put that on there. I'll go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend over at a 90-degree angle. And round those pliers in the crook of the bend, round those pliers facing me, bend the wire back till it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead, take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to, nope, Gotta open my loop first. Almost forgot again. I'll thread another link on here. I'll close my loop back. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Try not to get caught inside my link. Take my wire down a little bit. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start wrapping. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire, get my link out of the way here so I can get to it. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in the burrs that are left where I cut off the wire. Now I'm going to take another piece of wire, go down probably not hardly 1.5 inches, bend over at a 90-degree angle, run those pliers in the crook of the bend, bend the wire back until it hits the tool, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, take the short piece and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool, cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Open my loop, thread on my link, close my loop back, bent chain those pliers and hold on to my loop, wrap the shorter piece around the longer piece about 3 times. My cutters, cut off my extra wire, take my other color of my bead and put it on here, straighten my loop up down here, it's got crooked. Now go to the very tip of the pliers, now I want to get my loops facing the same way. Bend over at a 90-degree angle. Now round those pliers and put them in the crook of the bend. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Open my loop. Thread on my next link. Close my loop. My bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop. Pliers keep wanting to go through my link. Okay, now bring my wire down. Take my bent chain nose pliers. Start my wrap. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I think I ended up with more than 3 wraps that time. I thought I didn't get my pliers all the way to the tip like I usually do. Now I'm going to take my cutters, Cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and tuck my little burrs in. And if you're new to my channel and this is the first time you see me do this, you're probably wondering, because I know most people tuck their wires in when they make the first loop. They tuck it in, and then after they make the second loop, they tuck it in. But I find it easier to wait until I have both loops made. If I have that bead to brace against, it helps me from mangling the loop and the wire and everything else. So now I'm going to do one more, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. So I'm going to take my wire, go down almost 1.5 inches, bend the wire over the tool at a 90-degree angle, around those pliers in the crook of the bend, around those pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the tool, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the shorter piece of wire up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the wire. Take my bent chain nose. Nope, almost forgot again. Open my loop. Thread on my little link. Close my loop back. Take my bent chain nose pliers and hold onto my loop. Take this wire down. Bend the shorter piece of wire around the longer piece of wire. About 3 times. Take my cutters. Cut off my extra wire. Take my next color bead, which is this champagne one, put it on here, go to the very tip of the pliers, I was really at the tip that time, they slid off. Bend over at a 90-degree angle, around those pliers in the crook of the bend. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my pliers and open up my loop. Thread on my next link. Close my loop. Take my bent chain nose pliers and try to get them in under there where they're not going through my link. Hold on to my loop. Bring this wire down. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start my wraps. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers. In the little burrs that are left where I cut off the wire, if I can keep from getting inside that link. Okay, so that's what I've got so far. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I get this as long as I want it to be on one side. And I'm going to do the other side the same way, except I might go crazy and alternate my colors a little bit on the other side and do this. And then when I get it all done, I'm going to put it all together and put my little pendant down here. So when I get it the length that I want it to be, I'll be back. Okay, I've got both my sides done now. And I usually forget to tell y'all, I'm going to remember this time. I measured the sides and they're each about 7.5 inches each. So now I'm going to take another one of my little links here. And I've got a little jump ring here. I think this is like a 5mm jump ring. And I'm going to attach each side of my necklace to my link. Close my jump ring up really well. Now I'm going to take my little tree here and another 5mm jump ring. And attach it to my necklace. So I'm going to have to open that a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to come up here and I've got a couple of pieces of chain. They're about 3 inches each. And I wanted to put another link up here, and I should have wire wrapped it directly to the link, but I forgot. So I'm going to take a 4mm jump ring. And there's no particular reason why I'm using 4mm up here and 5mm down there. I guess I want all the jump rings to have something to do, so don't want anybody to feel left out. I'll put my link on here. I just about forgot that. I'm going to take another 4mm jump ring. Put my link on my necklace. I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. My chain on this side. Okay, now I'm going to take, I think that's another 4mm jump ring and my lobster clasp. my lobster clasp on here. And now I've got an 8mm jump ring that I'm going to put on this side. I hope it'll go through this chain. It's pretty thick. I don't know if it will or not. I thought I had used this chain with it before, but I could be wrong. Okay, I think I'm going to have another 4mm jump ring here. Now put my 8mm jump ring on my 4mm jump ring. And add my extender chain. Sure to get that closed up really well. I'm going to take my little leaf charm and another 4mm jump ring. And put it on my extender chain. Oops. Well, I almost got through that without dropping something. I think I got that closed up all right, but I want to make sure. I guess I did because I can't find the slit in it, so it must have got closed up okay. So now I'm all done. So that's what I got. So hold on, let me get my tools and I'll put up and I'll try to get it laid out. And I'll be back. Okay, there's my necklace made with some of the beads from the most recent Curated bead box. The one for November 2023 called Persian Rug. And some connectors. It's really not a hard necklace to make, just some wire wrap loops. I put a blue bead mat down and hoping that you all could see the beads better against it than the one I did have down. Like I said, if you're not subscribed to the box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you 35% off your first box if you sign up. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.